Okay, here we are in Bangkok, Thailand, and today is Friday, December 23rd, 2022. And we're at a rather large mall complex, and this is called Central Eastville. And it seems like just about every shopping complex or mall in Thailand is Central something. So this is Central Eastville. And we're going to visit the Sky Run. And here on the top floor of this semi-open air mall, so it's a combination of closed and open, we have a track. That's right. Well, what they decided to do here is that it was kind of hard to rent the roof, so they decided, what we can do is we'll make it into a track. So let's take a look at our track. So I have a walking, and we'll go to the walking. So this is the walking track. We have a jogging and a running. And it's a pretty good sized track. Now, kind of what floor are we on? I guess this is the third floor of this mall. And as we can see, there are numerous entrances to the track. So a combination of sun and shade. And actually the track is feels pretty good. I'm going to reach down here. Okay, I believe it is just concrete though. And there you can look over the rail. And if you see your favorite restaurant or shop, you can slip on down and visit it after your exercise. Now, for a day in December in Thailand, this is one of the most pleasant times of the year. The temperature drops into the low 70s at night. It can get up into the 90s during the day, but it's very dry. There's very little rain. So in Thailand, in the months of December, January, and February, there's very little rain. Of course, they'll make up for that as we get into the monsoon. To give you an idea, in the month of December, they have about 10 millimeters of rain, and of course about 13 millimeters is a half of an inch, so they get less than a half an inch of rain in December. But in September they'll get 220 millimeters of rain, so quite a big difference. And they have these large fans that are circulating air. It feels very nice today though. It's about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun, of course, is always high in the sky here in Thailand. We're close to the equator, but the air is very dry. Very pleasant. Now I can't imagine this though, is that in the months of, like for instance, July and August and September, is that you'd be running in and out of the rain and the humidity would be very high as well as the temperature. Now in actuality, the hottest part of the year here in Thailand is actually March and April. That's their most intense heat wave, and I guess it's kind of buffered by the monsoon when it comes in there in May. In Thailand, especially in the greater metropolitan Bangkok area, I don't think you could buy a heater for your home, and many vehicles that are specifically built for the Thai market do not have heater cores, just air conditioning. Well, here we'll go ahead and take a detour and take a look at farmland. Okay, here we have farmland. This is a little venue right here on the roof, right next to the exercise track. And that's one thing about Thailand, it certainly has a 12-month growing season. You'll need to water your plants there in December, January, February, March, maybe a little bit of April, but other than that, you don't need to worry about it there from May through November. In fact, if anything, they're going to get too much water. One thing I noticed about plant life here in Thailand is it grows very quickly. It has a very consistent 12-hour day and very mild or hot, humid temperatures. So what they're trying to do is kind of make use of some of the space on the roof. Here's the greenhouse. And the sound that you hear, that's the sound of the air handlers. I guess what I'm looking at right here is that I see refrigeration units and ductwork probably make up air for the enclosed part of the building. And it sounds like that I'm hearing a air conditioner compressor running there in the background. And here in front of us, that's a cooling tower. And what is a cooling tower? I'm going to use a evaporative cooling to reduce the temperature of my air to refrigerant heat exchanger. And man, is that going to work today. The humidity is very low. So the cooling tower is going to work very nicely. Now, here's something that grows very quickly and all year round, and that is, of course, different types of lettuce. One thing that's interesting about Thailand is that when I first visited Thailand 4 years ago, I was expecting a high insect population. But seriously, for all practical purposes, especially where I frequent, the insect population seems to be zero. Now, what do I mean by that? Absolutely no mosquitoes, no flies, no flying insects, and no crawling insects either. And apparently what happened is that 40, 50 years ago, Thailand was plagued with dengue fever, yellow fever, possibly malaria, and they had a program of controlling mosquitoes using insecticides. And they continue that today, and it is very effective. So that's one thing nice about Thailand. You don't have to worry about insects. Even out in the province, I sense the presence of very few insects. Okay, Here we're leaving the farm lab and going back to the exercise track. One thing that's popular in the open air malls is the large fans, and that is a big one. As you walk under it, you can actually feel its effect. Here we can see we're truly on the roof, and here's the makeup air unit. So I see the filters there for the makeup air. It looks like they need to be cleaned. And the other unit looks to be like an exhaust, and probably what that is the hoods there in the restaurants go to a common duct, and that's the exhaust. Okay, here we're on the exercise track and we're looking at the cooling towers. Now this is kind of a mild day, so I don't think they have to have the refrigeration systems operating wide open. And oftentimes what they try to do is time of use billing. So running units at night and bringing the temperature of the environment down and letting it creep up during the day. And of course, by running the systems at night, I'm reducing the humidity of the air too within the building. So as the temperature comes up, the people are still comfortable there with a nice dry air that has been dehumidified by my evaporators condensing the water out of the air. Now what we're looking at right here, these are cooling towers, and what I do is I actually use water and I try to demineralize it a little bit there. I can see the debris though building up there on the sections of the heat exchanger. They need to be cleaned, but a cooling tower at this time of year in Bangkok, Thailand, that is December, January, and February, will work very nicely. The air is very dry. And here we're coming back where we started. And of course there are several entrances and exits from the exercise track. I call it exercise track because we have walking, jogging, and running. So quite impressive.